Welcome my listeners. Ndị be anyị ndewo. Nke onye chiri nya zere. Ọkwa mụnwa bụ dibịa Nwangwu Uchendụ na-ekene. Si ka ọmaka meelu unu n'ụbọchị nke taa. Ka chi tata gọzie unu. Wetekwara unu ife akụ na ife enwe. Ogologo ndụ na arụ isi ike. Maka na ụzọ mmiri adịghị echi na ụzọ unu aga akwa n'echi. Asị na nkiri ka a na-ekiri ododo mana ejiri ododo enyi ozu. Sikwa na nwa agụ ada ata afịfịa. Unu nwa bụkwa ụmụ agụ na unu ama ntakwa afịfịa. Ife unu ga-eli akọkwa na unu ma nke ga-eli unu ya gbakwala unu ọsọ. Ise. Well, today I have just prayed for you before we enter into the topic that we have. Today we are going to talk about Akwali Ọmụmụ, the goddess of fertility in Igbo land. Well, I was very young, about 5 years old, when I saw a little heap of red soil with stones and clay pots attached to it inside my late father's compound. As obele nwambono. You know, we say curiosity kills the cat. I was overwhelmed with curiosity. I walked towards it to run my fingers around it, thinking, is that mold that looked like a fireplace where garri is usually fried? You know now, if you're an Igbo person, there is something that we mold. We use mud, red mud, and shape it as a fireplace. So I thought that is what that is. And I went there. I heard my dad call out to me, Nne, 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 Shika afuta, Shika wafuta. I recalled in surprise, very surprised, as I never knew my late dad was behind me. I asked him, what is the matter, Daddy? What is that? I pointed to the red mold. He answered, Akwali Ọmụmụ. I was surprised. I was baffled. I shook my head. At that tender age, I can ask questions like no man business. What I don't understand, I will ask. I talk like a parrot then. When I reminisce, I start laughing. My father always find time to answer all my questions. So I shook my head and I asked him, Dad, why is it so small and hidden away in the compound? It's as if it's hidden away. Huh? My dad told me, Nwam, when you grow up, you will understand what it is. So, look at me now, dibịa Nwangwu Uchendụ. I've grown up, because many years later, I didn't see it anymore with both eyes. My father's siblings and kinsmen have already destroyed many traditional things. Obundi ichie, Osisi ngwu, they left it up. No one was feeding it anymore. Because then there were people in our lineage, the kinsmen, who are into tradition, that really took care of all this. It was destroyed because Christianity was now the trend, became the trend then. Catholicism. So they destroyed all those things. They don't want to be reminded about it. Now, this is where the suffering, death, and setbacks began. Because none of them knew. This is the advent of my journey into the Debiahood. As a reincarnator that has come to restore all that was destroyed. What is Akwali Ọmụmụ? Kedu ife bụ Akwali Ọmụmụ? Ụfọdụ na-akpọ ya so many names depending on the Igbo community. Akwali Ọmụmụ is a spiritual symbol of the goddess of fertility, goodness, success, wealth, excellence, and a positive life force. She gives fruitfulness in every endeavor in the life of an individual. I once met a fierce-looking elderly man called Ọmụmụ. He visited my dad one day, and people ran away from shaking his hands as they rumored he would inflict one with an incurable disease once his hands were shaken. Curiously, I approached him and greeted. Little Mio. Nah. I introduced myself and at the same time asked him, is it true that he's a bad man? He replied, what do you think, Obelemwa? Little one. I replied, people do not understand you. That is why they run away from you. He smiled at me and said, great one, you are wiser than these elders. He gave me 5 naira as a gift. I recall that I took that money and I gave the money I gave to my mom. She asked me, who gave you this money? I said, She said, why did you go to him? Don't. He's not a good person. Oh. Hey, this guy, you are going to kill me. Me, I was just hiding my money behind my back. Now, let me tell you about Ichie Nwudenwagbala. He's a kinsman from my paternal side who was deeply rooted in Ordinary Igbo spirituality. Many people claimed he was a notorious wizard. You see, now that I've grown, he's no more alive. Oh. Many people claim that he was a notorious wizard simply because he was a dibia and followed the ways of our ancestors. It was him that carried out various required spiritual rituals and sacrifices to Ngwu, Oji, Akpu, Akwali, Ọmụmụ, among others when he was alive. Onyanwa, na-achụ aja, na-edozi mmụọ, na-edozi miru mmụọ. Maka osisi ndị anwa bụ mmụọ na-apụ apụ. Nobody plants them. They sprout up by themselves. And they carry so much blessing. You can check my YouTube, Dibia Nwangu Chendo, where I taught about spiritual trees, powerful spiritual trees, so that you know the type you have in your lineage. It's very important. So when the man died, things went awry. Even in Yasa, many Okumwo were completely destroyed, as my family did not want anything to remind them of the ancient path. Even that includes changing my immediate family's name from Nwangu to Uchendo. Like I got to know. My grandfather then, from my paternal side, was the secretary at St. Patrick's Cathedral then. So anything about tradition, he was a pious and a devout Catholic. But what is happening today in the family? Because they forsook the ways of their forefathers. Today we have IVF, surrogacy, adoption, among various ways of solving issues of fertility. While in the olden days, it was Akwali, Ọmụmụ, the goddess, that catered to the problems of infertility in every family across Igbo land. Odo Ọmụmụ. Nwanyi ajakeja. Now, Maka. Very powerful. When a family cannot reproduce, they consult Afa. And Afa will tell them what to do. They will be instructed to install Odo Ọmụmụ. Ọmụmụ means birth, giving birth. Kedu ife ọmụlụ nwa? Those days, I remember one maternity called Ọmụmụ maternity. So, Ọmụmụ means birth, giving birth. Therefore, Odo Ọmụmụ, it is an altar to seek for goodness, fertility, and multiplication of both male and female children in families, even when there is barrenness. Let me tell you today, some Igbo people that adopt, you are uprooting somebody's ancestor and bringing the person into your own family. We really need to be careful. It brings problem spiritually, but you are not aware of it. Rather, for you to adopt, it is better the man marries another woman. There are so many ways to find solution. Back then, in the olden days, even till today, because our ancestors are wise. What you don't know is because of modernization, you claim that adoption is good. Well, to those it favors, but spiritually, I'm telling you the implication. Because your ancestors, they will not be happy that you brought another person's ancestor. You now mix them up. Of course, if they disapprove, how will you know? You don't know now. You don't know spiritual things. So you see the way they solve their problem there. You go and meet Akwali Ọmụmụ and table your problem of infertility or whatever to her. Even Akwali is approached for blessings by giving certain offerings and invoking her help. Ọmụmụ or Akwali Ọmụmụ is the goddess that represents family in the spiritual realm. If you are listening, you will know when I went to Liafa. Kan akuzi nkuzi a. Etu miafa. Ogugu. Nwanyi. Ajakeja. Akwali Ọmụmụ nna Amaka. Dibia Nwangwu. So Akwali is approached for blessings by giving certain offerings and invoking her help. Akwali Ọmụmụ is the goddess that represents family in the spiritual realm. You see how powerful she is. That is for you people that will wake up and say, this is fetish, this is this, this is that. We don't want it. Some will say they use human being to institute Akwali. Some will see it, they will neglect it. And negative things will be happening in the family. They don't know that Akwali was instituted under a covenant with our ancestors and Chukwu Okike Abiama. So, Akwali is a spiritual mother hen that watches over the family, kinsmen, communities in Igbo society. Many call her different names, like Akwali, Ọmụmụ, Ọmụmụ, Ụdala Ọmụmụ, Ọda ndị Ichie, Odedensi. Even the name, the way it sounds, is so powerful. I said that many call her names like Akwali, Ọmụmụ, Ọmụmụ, Ụdala Ọmụmụ, Ọda ndị Ichie, Odedensi. A family or their kinsmen can institute Akwali Ọmụmụ for all-round success. Get one thing. A family or their kinsmen can institute Akwali Ọmụmụ for all-round success. All-round success, progress, solution, fruit of the womb, goodness of the family, and as a protector of the family. So, to explain further, if Akwali Ọmụmụ na-arụ erika, when you say all-round success, that means Akwali can do all things. Yes, if you know the key, if you know how to approach her. The goodness of the family and as a protector of the family, many people see her, she appears in the dream like an old woman or a woman that is always carrying a baby. So that when you see such in your dream, you know that that is Akwali Ọmụmụ, that you people have it in your family. Even if Akwali is no longer physical, that is the symbol is no longer there. That is that other Ọmụmụ, that red mound clay, mud, that reddish mud. If you don't see it anymore in your compound, but this woman appears in your dream, know that it was once in that family. Or when she has embarked on a mission, you will know when you dream and see her. So for all-round success, progress, solution, any solution whatsoever, just go before her. Table your matter. Okay, even to today, many people are returning back to our ordinary Igbo spirituality. And it protects the family too. Not only give children. In hierarchy, after Ndichi, that's our ancestors, it is the goddess Akwali Ọmụmụ. Because Akwali Ọmụmụ is jointly owned by the kindred or installed in the obi of a family in general. Ofu onye ade hibe Akwali Ọmụmụ. No this and no peace today. Ofu onye ade hibe Akwali Ọmụmụ. So that you know what you are doing, because some people can be giving bad advice. They will go ahead and be doing the opposite instead of doing the one that is good. Sometime in my life, during the course of this Dibia work, in one of these UAE countries, United Emirates countries, a young man that Alpha revealed that they destroyed this other Ọmụmụ because of the covenant the family entered into with Akwali Ọmụmụ. So Kambasizeli Alpha, he was screaming. He was like, Dibia, you are right. Let me tell you the full story, that I am the one that instigated and called the Christian members and the fire by fire to come and destroy all those things. To make it anyway, let me tell the stories, not as if, so that people will learn from someone's mistake. This is talking about the destruction and desecration of the goddess Akwali Ọmụmụ. If you destroy it by yourself, you will be in problem. You will be in fact, if Akwali unleashes on you, you will be in problem. That was this young guy's problem. When he brought all those liberation army from the church. The funny thing is that once they come, they will not destroy those things by themselves. It is you that invited them, that they will call, oh yeah, do this, and you do it like Mumu and zombie that you are. Or let me use the word Belima. He said he wrote a letter and circulated it around the Umunna that they should sign that they no longer want this anymore, that he will stand in gap for them and destroy all those things, because they believe that the existence of all those things, Akwali Ọmụmụ, Obundichie, is the cause of their woes, the cause of the problem that they are having in family. Ignorantly, not knowing that they are not keeping to the covenant. Father, and yearly sacrifice, or monthly or 6 monthly, depending on the agreement of the ancestors. So those were neglected. Akwali Ọmụmụ was neglected. Obundichie was neglected. And as if this year no nonsense, if any fetish, if any demons, this and that. Because the man himself is supposed to take up the mantle as his father is late. After his father, Naim, did you allow Kana Wagefa? Or the letter for sign is aka has circulated from the family. I was important the warriors, prayer warriors. I will be uncommon as Yangwa, Nya Kukwa, Nya Menkawa, Megide. No more if you're phone. Or when Messia or dear Kayasino no kutelo belume. And oblique go where travel or out. When alieno Dubai. Luciano Dubai, Java the man of Anama. Every 5 years or 10 years, EBA, Kafara, Webia, Dubai. Nothing is working for him. For over 10 years, he has been there. He was a fugitive. From one problem to the other. One problem to the other. And back home, nobody is seeing the light. From one problem to the other. The female, the sisters that got married all came back to the family. Nolozia ben nafa. Ụfọdụ je ijedi, they didn't conceive. Sickness befell most of them. If I na-emefa, fa na-ebibiali aka. Even some jejubazi ese, kedu ife na-emezen, achekwa na ekpesi ekpela meche family liberation that boom, they will become Solomon, like they are always deceived. That whatever that is holding them captive will now release them. Well, it didn't happen that way. It got to a point that he couldn't even get a good job. That was menial jobs. He got my number from social media, from my page, and called me. I have to do online offer for him. So he now knew the cause of his problem, and he started crying, saying that had it been he knew all this, he wouldn't have led the destruction and the desecration of Akwali, Ọmụmụ, and various sacred things in his own custody, because he's the next in line. He knew, or he knows that the father was a native doctor then, but he didn't know the agreement. He didn't know the covenant backing up the family, what was behind their blessing, what was behind their fruitfulness in every venture, in everything they do. He didn't know. But he got to know it was a bit late, because he was still far away from his own native country, Nigeria. So I told him, since you have realized all this, you have to beg for forgiveness. Start from where you are and show how remorseful you are. Talk to them. Face the sun. Use your egg, native egg. Buy oji, hot alligator pepper if you can get it there. And I gave him some instructions. Do you see how that family became afflicted? There's something you will call generational curse. Because of the covenant they broke, calamities befell them. So we really need to be careful. All these fanatics, you cannot be more holier than the Pope. Some people, because of Christian religion, you forsake your culture and your tradition. We have good cultures and good tradition that was enacted for the good of our society, to curtail some certain excesses, to keep people in check. Even the offenders, they are punished. The culture and tradition that is not good is the one that will try to make amends, to see how it can be, remolded or reconstructed or whatever, for the goodness of mankind. That is what we should be striving for. We should be trying to do. Not that we demonize everything. So you see, in the course of him being a born-again Christian, he demonized and said a lot of atrocious things. And his ancestors were there. Because most of you think that when you die, you are going to heaven. You will see this and that. Once you die, it's your ancestor that you will see. The people in your generation, in your lineage, in your ancestral lineage, those are the people you will see. Then you start dealing with your ignorance. So he finally said that when he comes back to Nigeria, he will repair all those things. He will reinstitute them. That the family have suffered so much. A lot of things have befallen them. He asked me, Dibia, are we going to be all right? I say, sure, fine. That is what your ancestors want. As long as you come back, reinstitute, honor that covenant, do appeasement. Appeasement matters a lot. Once you discover that you have gone astray, you have done such things, please, like this man did. After we give you solution, definitely appeasement ritual or rite will be carried out. Because because who can one adika opium? You will become carried away, be very high. And these people know how to run away from this problem. They will put you at the forefront. Go and destroy. Because you are the one that called them. You are the one that invited them. Their ancestors, they are watching. They are all watching. The deities that we are in partnership for that covenant, they are watching you. He is there. They are watching you. Honor. Funny inosia. May be a witness. Mahalo said they are money. They are all there. So it will be a thing of joy and pleasure for them to discover that you have realized what you did and you are contrite and remorseful. Of course, things will turn around, but it will take time. Let's continue more about this destruction and desecration of the goddess Akwali Ọmụmụ. Destroying Akwali Ọmụmụ connotes ignorance on her roles and function in families that made many destroy theirs. The rave, the trend, colonialism, imperialism, and other forceful conversion of many Igbos to imported religion called Christianity contributed massively to its destruction. On the Okabiagwai, they find well about Jifa. Agwasi anyị na nke anyị nwe adịrọ mma ha welu nke ha nye anyị. Efugo ndị na-agba sense na mkpọ. Akụkọ mbe na oke. In addition, it was severely demonized and termed to be fetish. Equally rumored to be instituted using blood of humans. I want to tell you today that it's pure fallacy. Even some of our people, out of ignorance, they say a lot of rubbish. Our people kill twins. Go and investigate. Go and do your research. Look for evidence. It's unfortunate that we allow other people to write our story because our people did not do much of recording of all the things that happened. We believe in oral transmission of our history from one generation to the other. Anyị na-eji ọnụ akọọlụ agbụrụ nke a ndị nke atụte akọọlụ fa na gboo na efe nna m gwa m na efe nne m gwa m. That is it. But I thank Okike today that we have a generation of enlightened and educated people who are striving to write down things, to document the ones they met, they research on it, and write more to tell our people that this is another man's narrative. How can another man tell your story? Another race will tell you your own story. Chukwaju. The destruction of Akwali Ọmụmụ generally in Igbo land made men and women at liberty to abort. This is the main offense that you will commit, and Akwali Ọmụmụ will deal with you. I want to tell you today, ụmụnne nwoke na nwanyị, be very, very careful. You know that when colonization, when we experienced it, a lot of things, we imbibed it. We imbibed westernization, feminism. We want to become more white than the white people. Even in churches, they will tell you that the blood of Jesus does this. The blood of J-boy does that. And you start indulging in all manner of things that is evil, forgetting that the Igbo is a spiritual race. If you don't know that Igbos are a spiritual race today, you are swimming in ignorance, wallowing in ignorance. You better sit up. Know this today and know peace. I have thought about abortion and its consequences. Go to my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, Dibia Wangu Chendo, and listen to my teaching on abortion and its consequences, why it is abhorred in Igbo society. Akwali Ọmụmụ ga-eme gị ife. Unu na-ete ime na-ete eme unwanted pregnancy. ị na-agbasisi, ị na-agba olingo side chick instead of you to become a second wife or third or fourth wife. Ị na-ezuzuyalị.